What if the very workout meant to make you stronger is quietly breaking your body down? Can weight training heal the body or harm it, depending on how and why we train? By the end of this video, you are going to understand what modern research says about strength training, why so many people get injured, and how to train in a way that actually preserves your body for life. Over the last few decades, weight training moved from elite athletes to mainstream fitness. We have these home gyms, resistance machines, and fitness culture, which just exploded. The study's opening claim, or I shouldn't say the study, it's really an article, is that more people lifting equals more people injured. Experts suspect many injuries come from lifting improperly. People lift for different reasons, but most people lift to get healthy. But injuries are increasing. So the issue may not be strength training itself, but how it is practiced. So if you care about fitness that actually protects your body long term, subscribe to this channel because I don't just chase strength, I chase wisdom. So chase it with me. I want to share with you the article now. Take a look at this. So this is evaluating the pains and gains of weightlifting regimen, fit and injury-free. So Linda, she writes this article about evaluating the pains and gains of weightlifting regimen. And it says here that weight training injuries have been especially high among men over 50. And she gets in more into the article, delves into CDC data, which is what I want to share with you now. So let's go there, okay? I want to share with you that CDC data. It says here that 1 in 5 Americans, okay, this is from the study, 1 in 5 Americans lifts weights regularly. However, emergency room visits from weight training injuries increased 90% from 1987 to 1995. And the injury statistics were highlighted. Over 20,000 injuries annually. Men aged 40 to 59 were most affected. Men over 50 were particularly vulnerable. People lift to build muscle. People lift to prevent aging. People lift to improve health. But aging joints recover slower. Weekend-only workouts overload tissues. And ego often exceeds capacity. We've all heard of ego lifting, right? So strength training without wisdom becomes a risk factor instead of a benefit. So if lifting weights is supposed to protect us as we age, why are older adults being injured more than anyone else? Many adults squeeze intense workouts into weekends. And then there's these long gaps between sessions which increase injury risk. And there's some expert observation from the article that tendons and ligaments, they adapt slower than muscles, and sporadic stress overwhelms connective tissue. But people want efficiency, right? The body is designed for consistency, not intensity spikes. Irregular training undermines the very strength it seeks to build. So let's look at a health philosophy insight. And the human body, it's integrated with muscles, joints, nerves, and habits and rest. And the human body responds best to rhythm, moderation, and recovery. Strength is not just brute force output, it's resilience, longevity, and balance. If this perspective is challenging what fitness culture has taught you, stay with me because the most important lesson is still ahead. So please keep on watching. Look at the study again. Let's take a look here. I like looking at the science. Notice what she writes here. People at home rarely have someone overseeing them, so they lift much too fast, said Thomas Purvis, a physical therapist in Oklahoma City, who uses resistance training with his patients. Dr. Jones pointed out another hazard. At home, weights are often lying around and children can get injured. Children under the age of 4 are particularly susceptible. And here's something that the article highlights. I like this because we have weight equipment at home. I do. And I often have to pay attention to my kids to make sure they don't play around with my stuff and end up hurting themselves. I got a 4-year-old and I've got a 1.5-year-old. So there's specific mistakes that are highlighted, in the study. And that's what I wanted to look at. There's mistakes that we make in lifting and also mistakes in how we store our equipment. So the study highlights these specific mistakes. There's these pull downs behind the neck, which stress cervical spine and the shoulders. It increases rotator cuff injury risk. And then there's also these deep knee extension machines, which are especially dangerous with heavy loads, and it puts us high shear force on our knees. There's also the issue of incorrect form when lifting. Momentum instead of control is another issue, especially when people do ego lifting. They try to use momentum to get the heavier weight up instead of using the muscle itself. Then there's the overextension at the joints. And sometimes machines, they feel safer than free weights, but poor mechanics can still injure deeply. Supervision and education matter oftentimes more than the equipment itself. But here's the question that no one asks. Why do people keep lifting incorrectly even after getting hurt? So the article has these implications in it, that many injuries come from lifting too heavy, rushing repetitions, competing with others, and there's emergency room data which only shows severe injuries. Severe injuries which kind of trump the chronic injuries. Many chronic injuries are never counted. So we have to take a deeper analysis into it. So fitness culture, it rewards numbers. Fitness culture rewards appearance. If you look good and hot, people are gravitate towards that. Fitness culture rewards speeds, lose 15 pounds in 15 days. You know what I'm saying? But the body values something different. The body values alignment, recovery, and sustainability. So when identity is tied to performance, wisdom is ignored. So if you want fitness that honors your future self, not just your mirror, share this video with someone who lifts heavy but rarely rests. Hey, share this video with an ego lifter, all right? So what the study affirms? That strength training can improve bone density, reduce muscle loss, support functional independence, okay? However, exercise is especially important for older adults. Weightlifting is important for older adults because it prevents injuries, helps people do their daily living tasks. If you have more muscle mass, it's much easier to carry on your day and do the common things of life. Strength training is powerful, but power without restraint becomes destructive. Strength must be paired with purpose and moderation. Why do injuries keep happening? Well, there's a lack of instruction, there's irregular schedules, there's ego-driven goals, ignoring pain signals. So there's a core principle that's at play. Pain is not always progress. Sometimes pain is information. Pain is like the signal saying, hello, something's wrong here. So train consistently, not sporadically. Use proper form even with light weights. Avoid behind the neck pulls. Seek professional guidance. Progress slowly. Rest is not weakness, it's repair. So there's a big idea in all of this. The strongest people, long term, are not the ones who lift the most, they're the ones who last. If you want more research-based, values-driven insights on health, strength, and the human body, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications. Is not domination over the body. Strength is cooperation with it. When training aligns with wisdom, moderation, respect for design, the body doesn't just grow stronger, it grows whole. So grow whole with me. Follow me throughout my channel. Check out my other videos and be blessed. Thank you for watching.